Welcome to Too Fond of Books. My name is Janelle, and I have read 4 mysteries in 4 days. This is the start of Cloak and Dagger Christmas, and my December has gotten off to a very strong start. Like I said, I read 4 mysteries in 4 days. Now, I doubt I can keep it up and read 1 book every day this month, but maybe that sounds like a challenge I should take up. What do you think? Okay, so for the first 4 mysteries that I read this month, let's just dive straight into this. Now, you are going to laugh because 3 of these are prompts for Cloak and Dagger Christmas that I was able to cross off, but none of these 3 books were in my pile of possibilities. And that's just how I roll. So, the first book I read was The Decagon House Murders by... totally dropped it. Yukito Ayatsuji. Sorry, I'm completely butchering that. This is a book that was written in Japan in the 80s, I believe. 1987. And it was translated into the English in 2015. And I'm not sure if we have the name of the translator. Yes, we do. Translated from the Japanese by Ho-Ling Wong. Now, this one was really fun. This one was definitely a traditional mystery, a traditional puzzle mystery, fair play mystery with very, very loud echoes of Agatha Christie. And so I was primed to like this one right from the start. First of all, I have to tell you a little bit about the author because I thought this was so interesting. The author is a Japanese writer of mystery and horror novels and one of the founding members of the Hokaku Mystery Writers Club of Japan, dedicated to the writing of fair play mysteries inspired by the Golden Age greats. He started writing as a member of the Kyoto University Mystery Club, which inspired the club featured in this book, and has nurtured many of Japan's greatest crime writers. The Decagon House Murders was this author's debut and is considered a landmark crime novel in Japan, where it revived the traditional puzzle mystery format and inspired a new generation of writers. It is the first of his works to be translated into English. Isn't that fascinating? So this one is about 7 members of a mystery writers club go out to spend a week on an island. Now this island is famous because 6 months before, 4 people were killed on that island and the case was not solved. And so, you know, you get these people heading out to this island. And then right from the prologue, you know that we have, and then there were none situation going on, a la Agatha Christie, which is also very interesting. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was great. It was definitely a traditional mystery, but it had this Japanese flair, which was fantastic. I marked a few things that I thought were interesting. So because it was a traditional mystery, it also included maps and stuff, so I liked that. I always like a map. This is the island that they were on. And then the house was built with 10 walls, which is why it's called the Decagon House. And so here is a floor plan of the house that shows all the rooms that everybody was sleeping in, which is important for the mystery. The other thing that I thought was great was the students who go out to this island that are all members of this mystery club all have nicknames, and the nicknames are from the greats of detective crime fiction. So we have one that's called Agatha and another one that's called Ellery, and we have a Carr for John Dixon Carr, and Van for SS Van Dyne, and Orsi for the Baroness Orsi. So I loved that there was these fun nicknames. Then there was also these. They discovered these plates the second day they were there. These plates show up on the dining room table. And this is very similar again to, and then there were none, where there was the 10 figurines on the table, and after every death a figurine goes missing. So it's so good. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, so this was just a really fun mystery. I did not guess it right, but I would highly recommend this. So I've marked this for Cloak and Dagger Christmas for the Detective Galileo prompt, which was to read a translated mystery or a mystery set in a country different from your own, and that covers both of them. And then I read Murder at Keyhaven Castle by Clara McKenna. This is the third in an Edwardian mystery series, which I love because there's not really a ton of historical mysteries that are set in the Edwardian time period. So that part I really like. This one, what's funny here is it's set in England. It's actually set in Hampshire, which is really cool, in the area of the New Forest. The author is American, and as a Canadian, I don't always pick up on maybe things that people from England would pick up on, but in this one I totally did. Like, there was a couple of things where I was like, ooh, no, I don't know if that's the word they would have used if they were, you know, because they are British. But anyway, that's okay. That kind of thing doesn't really bother me all that much, because I really like this series and I really like the characters. So this is the third in the series, I believe. Yeah. And they're set in 1905. So our main character is Stella, and she's an American. She's from Kentucky, and she has gone over to England with her father and a great aunt, who's like a chaperone. And they are very wealthy, and they've gone over to England in order to, she thought they were going to sell a horse. Her father has a ranch and owns horses. And then she finds out that she is supposed to marry this titled guy, and so that, you know, that family needs money desperately, and her dad really wants the title. So anyway, by this third one in the series, Stella, it's 3 days from the wedding, and she's marrying Lindy, Lord Lyndhurst. And some unexpected people show up for the wedding, family members that she wasn't expecting because she didn't know they were invited. And then also people that they were expecting. And so her and her father have gone to Southampton to the docks to pick up some guests off of a ship. And while they're there, they witness what appears to be an accident. A man runs out in the traffic, and he gets run over by a horse and carriage. And then a few days later, while there's a group of them visiting Keyhaven Castle, there is a death. One of their party dies. And Lindy and Stella kind of investigate. They're amateur sleuths. And so I've used this one for the Cloak and Dagger Christmas prompt of amateur sleuth, the Agatha Raisin prompt, because Stella and Lindy are great amateur sleuths. I actually really like them. So yeah, this is a fun series. I really like it. I like the characters. I love the setting and the time period. And the mysteries are pretty good too. Trying to figure out what's going on and who the killer is. And again, in this one, I didn't guess it right either. So that's the second one that I read. And then I read London Rules by Mick Herron. This is next up for me in the Slough House series. This is a series that's set in London, all about MI5, and so you have disgraced agents who get sent to Slough House. They're called slow horses because they've screwed up, and so they get sent to Slough House where their bosses hope that they will get fed up with the non-work they're given and that they'll just retire. And so in this one in the series, we're getting farther along. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the fifth in the series. This came out in 2018. And one of the slow horses, Roderick, is a computer genius, and he, there's been a couple of attempts on his life, and so the rest of the agents at Slough House are trying to figure out who would want to kill Roddy and what's going on. And of course, like with all of the other books, you know, there's more going on than you would expect, and there's the conflict between Regent's Park, where the active agents work, and Slough House. And yeah, I've talked about this series before. I do really like this series. I love a story of the underdogs, and Slough House is definitely the underdog in this series. So yeah, and then the and that one is the only one that I read that I couldn't make fit into a prompt. So yeah, so that one, it's a mystery, but I couldn't fit it for Cloak and Dagger Christmas. And then I read Remembered Death, which is also called Sparkling Cyanide, by Agatha Christie. This was published in 1945. And so for Cloak and Dagger Christmas, I'm reading this for the Hercule Poirot prompt, to read a Golden Age mystery. And for the Christie's Missing readathon, this is the first book that I read for that readathon, and I read this for the prompt of reading an Agatha Christie that does not feature Hercule Poirot or Miss Marple. So this one is actually one of the Colonel Race books. There's not very many of those. But in this one, we have, it's almost a year after the events of a birthday party where the birthday girl died. So there's a group of people, I think 6 people at a restaurant. It's Rosemary's birthday. She drinks her champagne and she dies. And at the inquest, after some investigation, it was believed that she committed suicide. And so this book is about the events that take place about a year later, about those people. And this one was great. I did really enjoy this one. I'm not going to talk about it very much. I'm going to save that for my Christie's Missing readathon wrap up. So if you want to hear more thoughts about this book, then watch for that video that's going to be coming up after the Christie's Missing readathon. And then I just also wanted to let you know that I was also able to cross off the Columbo prompt, which was to watch a mystery TV show, because I started watching the Madame Blanc Mysteries, which is a brand new show on Acorn, I believe. And it's about this woman. Her name is Mrs. White, and her husband run this antiques business, and he does all the buying trips. He goes over to France to buy antiques, and on his latest trip, he found this, what could be an extremely valuable ring, and he was coming home so that she could see it. She's kind of the expert, and he gets into an accident in his vehicle and dies. And so she goes over to France to collect his personal effects, and the ring is missing. And so she believes that the ring has been stolen and that he was murdered for the ring. And so she sticks around to try and investigate that. And then she also kind of gets involved in a few other mysteries along the way. And I've been enjoying that one. That one's fun. I love the setting. I love that it's in France. It's in the small village in France. And that's been really fun. So that means I've already crossed off 4 of the prompts for Cloak and Dagger Christmas. And it's so early already. The day I'm filming this, it's only the 5th of December. So, I don't know. I'm completely on a roll. Anyway, have you read any of these books? Let's chat about them in the comment section down below. And if you are participating in Cloak and Dagger Christmas and or the Christie's Missing readathon, I would love to know what you're reading right now for those readathons. Let's chat. And I will see you for another video soon. Bye.